Hey guys, were you born only to witness other people's lives? Let's find out. Today is Casual Friday with medium Nancy Matz. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. Let's hope we don't have any internet issues tonight. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team. That's my announcer voice. The California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. I say this every night. I love it. I love it. I love doing this. We're 45 strong up and down the state. And if you have a paranormal need, we can get to you, but it may take a while. California is a big state, okay? And if we do have issues, it might take a couple hours, but we have people like Nancy and other mediums on staff who can call you and discuss things with you. And maybe, as we've done in the past with Trish and Karen, we settle stuff down before we get out there for you. So look us up, and you can find us on Facebook, right? Just like right here, these radio shows. I'm all over Facebook, California Haunts is, and my Facebook. You can get a hold of me there. Private message, all that. You can also find me at, it's one of those days. You can also find me at Instagram. I'm Ghosty Gal, all lowercase. So you can find me over there. And we are also over at TikTok under California Haunts, all lowercase. We are at Twitter as well under Cal Haunts. And I believe, Twitch at Cal Haunts. I think I got everybody. Yeah. Oh, YouTube. That's right. Yeah, YouTube. Our YouTube is youtube.com/at California Haunts Radio. So you can find us there as well. And along that line, allow me to ask you, if you are watching the show tonight and you like what you see, feel free, especially if you're watching from Facebook, to give me some thumbs up, some like, or some hearts, or something going on. Show me some love. And if you haven't done so already, hit the follow button. All right. If you're watching from YouTube and same thing, you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate it. And show me some love again. Another announcement, then I'll shut up. I'm opening up a Patreon. I've been talking about it for a while. Almost there, almost ready. And the charge, I'm going to keep it down at $5. $5 a month. But it's going to get you some interesting access. For instance, Nancy and I will be available after shows to chat for a while with y'all. If you have any additional questions. Now, word of warning, okay? We're not going to kill Nancy off with a bunch of psychic reading things, okay? These are questions that you guys had that maybe didn't get a chance to ask during the show. All right? So, there's going to be some limits as to what Nancy will be on for. But, I mean, it's a great opportunity. I'm going, I do pre-records. I got 4 pre-records to do this month for shows. And what I'm going to do is take those pre-records. And for those of you that are members over at Patreon, I'm going to show them to you first. You're going to get first access before the audience, the wide audience gets them. So there's going to be stuff like that. I'm going to try and work with some of the people that I interview, some of the more some of the real interesting folks, and see if they'd be willing to come back on a special day and do an interview over there. That way you guys can you can question and answer with them even more. It might be after the show. It depends, because if we do after the shows, we'd have to do them at like 3 or 4 o'clock, because a lot of these people are on East Coast time. So when they get done with doing the show here, you got to figure it's like 10, 11 o'clock. Okay, depending how long they stay on. So we might just like pick a day with one of them and have them come back and do the Patreon part. Okay, that way everybody gets a chance to watch it. All right, but I should have that set up Sunday or Monday is what I'm shooting for, and then you guys can start going over there and grabbing some membership. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a cool site. And the more we do it, the more people we get involved with being members over there, the more I'm going to add. Okay? I mean, there's going to be more perks coming out. Okay, we're just starting with basic stuff right now. All right? All right, well, now it's time for Nancy, and I hope everybody's out there. I hope George is out there. I haven't seen George Zeros for a while, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate everybody else that comes in. I know it's Friday. I know I went shopping today, and I had to go get dog food, and the stores were packed. That's because we're in between storms out here in California. If you remember last night, I talked about the storm that was about to hit my house. and how solid my house is, and you don't feel or hear anything. Well, around 11, 12 o'clock last night, while I was eating my dinner, I could hear. I finally heard it. That's how bad I knew it was. I could hear it, and it was mostly my front window, and I could hear the rain hitting really hard on my front window because the wind was blowing it. So that's a rarity in this house to actually hear the storms like that. You just don't hear it in this house. Um, but it was different, so I knew it was blowing. When I went out to go to the store today, both my trash cans were like halfway down the street. So yeah, it was pretty bad last night, especially from what I'm hearing. But yeah, everybody was out at Walmart and everywhere getting groceries and getting gas because they're preparing for this the next round of storms, which is going to hit I think tomorrow, and it's going to last until Tuesday. We're going to be in like major rain again. So wow, it's been we've been in a drought all this time, and it just alleviated itself big time, big time. Okay, that being said, we're going to bring Nancy on and start our topic for the night, and it should be interesting. And yeah, okay, I love this chair. I love this chair because it rotates. My mother, my mother used to rock me as a baby, and this is something that our whole family that I like to do, is I like that rocking motion. So I tend to rock back and forth, back and forth. All right, guys, here we go.
Well, you may like to rock back and forth, but if I see you rocking back and forth, I don't want you to. That is very distracting. How about if I sat here and talked to you, I went like this?
Only if you're on a boat.
Oh, please, Sharv, save me, save me. So this topic tonight is something that I've talked about with other clients. There have been some interesting, another word, I should use another word. Oh, my light. Seems like my light is crooked. Hope it
Uh
doesn't fall
oh,
off the desk. I just noticed it's kind of slopped down a little bit. Cats get up on the desk at night, and
because they want
there
to do
is
their
some.
own show.
I noticed that get morning the cats have moved things around, and I'm going, oh, these critters. Anyway, I write notes, and when I take my time writing notes for a show, I'm reminded of situations that I'd like to talk about tonight. And I try to every show. We have a topic. I reach back, I had 30 some years. I'll be 33 in May 4th of talking to different kinds of people, talking about situations. And so hopefully you'll be entertained tonight. And if you do, remember, thumbs up, give Shar some help on this. And at the end of the show, she'll give you a list of verbally, most of you will listen to this online, of where you can find me if you're interested. So this is tonight's topic is why were you born? What are you doing here? Are you here just to witness someone else's life? Well,
Okay, now outside of me moving in my chair, every time you move, there's a kind of like a uh, movement sound. It's kind of it's kind of like a puffing sound every time you move
uh-oh, that might be it right there.
because you're
Is that
moving back
better?
and forth and stuff. See, I can yell at you now. Don't move.
Don't move. I'm one moving. Yes, I'm not
Revenge is
Italian.
sweet.
Uh,
Revenge is sweet. Go ahead.
really. I I'm looking at my notes over here. Um, are you here by choice, design, or demand? I'm going to go back to a lot of memories here. When I first started this, I had a gentleman in my life that was helping me kind of get marketing. He was in my life maybe a couple of years. He was friends of Ken and Ollie Keck. They were the reverends at the Spirit of Grace Universal Christ of the Master Church in Citrus Heights, where I started out and worked there for 15 years. And I got into this kicking and screaming. I really want to know the reasons why I had such a tough life, and at 39, I got cancer. It was really kind of serious, and I wanted some answers. And when I was in, um, I had a house off of Black Eagle at Watt Avenue, Citrus Heights, Citrus Heights, I think it was. Anyway, so a lot of you might have known me at that time. I was doing a lot of talks. And one night I sat at the kitchen table, and a Mrs. Thompson came to me, and I didn't know who she was. And another lady, I think was, I'm not positive. I had her my name in my mind. I don't know if Mrs. Jefferson or something. Mrs. Thompson said that we knew each other in a past life, and that she was a medium out of England. And my mentor was sitting there listening to this, and he jotted the name down. And then another lady, um, large, um, large-bodied woman, rushed in and disrupted me. And she said, uh, "Someone thought me here." And I said, "Thought you here? What does that mean?" She says, "Oh, I'm supposed to show up for a little bit of time." And I couldn't figure out what that meant. Well, my mentor not only found both women, but they were, and I'm going to really get in trouble here because I can't remember the second lady. The first lady actually had a book written about her, and I have it on my shelf. And of course, I see better visual descriptions than I could come up with, even Mrs. Thompson's first name. So I have her book, The Life of, oh, Mrs. Leonard. That was the second lady, Mrs. Leonard. So I was able to find one of the books and I got it. What surprised me was that the second woman came in with a huff, huff. And I said, I don't want you around. Me, I'm going to say what I think. And I was kind of like, I didn't ask you here. She says, no, someone else did. I have to show up. I go, well, so someone in spirit, they can ask people to come around? Or was it that I needed a guidance or assistance? Curiously, they were not in flesh, they were in spirit. Yet the divine had me go to the spirit of grace. So someone in spirit guided me to the spirit of grace.
Mhm.
Spirit of grace were two lovely reverends. Papa's gone. We call him Papa, and he is deceased. He died at 83, probably 15 years ago. And she was quite a bit younger, and I'm sure she's uh, Ollie Keck, Reverend. I know she doesn't have a church anymore. Just time goes on and you get tired. So, but I always looked at them as teachers, parents type of thing since my mother was gone. Uh, I didn't, mother lived in a different state, so they were kind of like my parents, and they were wonderful to me. Everybody has conflict. There was a couple of times that we didn't agree on everything. Um, so I saw them later on as people who agreed to allow me come into their life as my foster parents, for lack of a better word. And I did them well for their church, and they did me well by allowing me to learn so much from them. And some things I discovered of spirit was in that church. Not only to accept that we survive and be able to help a lot of people, but even though they didn't embrace the idea of reincarnation, was where I first got exposed to it. And I have to tell you, I I had no belief in that at all. So here it is. Are you here by choice, design, or demand? And I do believe that we connect with people. It's like Cheryl say, think of me as her mom now. Well, then that's what maybe I'm supposed to be for a while, off and on. We come in when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, and they usually show up in flesh, or if they do in spirit, then those people will connect us to the ones that should be here in flesh. Do we always listen to the ones in spirit? Absolutely not. I even had spirit visitation in '04 and woke up in the middle of the night and these beings came in the room. And when I first started describing, they go, was that the Greys? I says, oh, they didn't look like the Greys at all, but they were not very tall people. And I have a Jewish friend in Southern California. Oh, I forgot her name, Maria something, not Maria, Marina something. Anyway, she said I described a Jewish angel out of their Bible, the Quran or what, not Quran, but the Bible. And I thought, well, that's interesting. They said the next you will write another book, and I went, oh my gosh, no, right? Well, I've done three and I have eight lined up. And I was so obstinate. No, I'm not going to do that. I wrote one. That's enough. I'm not going to do more. And it's like they they give you the idea early, and I've coached my peoples, and I said this can happen for you. And one lady, I just adore her, her name is Gwen, and Jennifer out of Texas, and I see great things for them. And I even been describing to both of them what the covers of the books will look like, and now they're going that way. And I get a lot of little Jennifer. Oh, I have something up here she knitted for me, the screaming and yelling on the phone. Oh my God, let me show you that. You just described something I have right here to show you. So it's been fun. Then we say, Are you here, Nancy, to witness their life? Absolutely. And I think that pre-life agreements are brought together with people so that you can do that. I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 different aspects of this. So I want you to think about in your life things that have happened that you understand. Another story. So I was talking to a gal in Oregon. She does frequent these shows. I did not ask for her permission. She had just got a different job, and I was entertaining the ladies over the phone. And she got this. No, it was a group. Sorry, it was a group. I did drive up there because I have several people, and this is probably 15, 20 years back, and at least 15. And she says, "Oh my gosh, I just got this job and I hate it. All these people coming, and oh my gosh, I got a headache. It hit me right in the forehead. Oh my gosh, my gosh." So I started describing the personalities and that she was supposed to be there to be the person that stops the trouble that could be. Like the boss is who he was, but there's other people there. And she was nudged in to be the middle of a spoke of a wheel, and that she was meant to intercede on things that could go terribly wrong. She didn't particularly like that, but when I explained it to her without having any knowledge at all, she just says, "I don't like my job. You know me, I'm just boom like this." And so she got it. She says, "Oh my gosh." I said, "All you have to do is kind of sit back, and as things get out of control, just get up and calm them down. It may not be your job, but they'll
Hmm.
respect you for being able to do this." And it turned out all right. She was kind of like the hero, and she lives in Oregon. I haven't talked to her for a long time, so um, if you're hearing this, give me a call. It'd be nice to catch up with you. She was a singer and entertainer, but that didn't pay her bills. So she had a regular job, and I still have a business card around here. Wanting to look her up and see what she's produced. So anyway, it's fun. Um, I want to point out something else too. Even though I'm pointing out to her the issues around there, the universe picks up, will set up um, so that the design of how you'll influence people. I use the description of a spider in the middle of a intricate spider web. It sits there very quietly. It has taken a lot of time with a lot of rings, a lot of bridges from row to row to design this beautiful internet home for itself. And it sits there waiting for some poor little volunteer to be the food as the next meal. So it catches something on the peripheral and it sits there and it waits for the vibration to come down. For that spider to get to the outer, it has to go from row to row, but to go from a row, it has to find the bridge. And sometimes I put my hand, it can be very difficult, like back and forth, to get to his dinner. That's what I call the domino effect. So the universe picked up unconscious soul communication and said, "Ooh, I just remembered your name. That she should apply for a job because these spirits of these people said, we want to know what it feels like to experience this situation. You're going to help us understand what it's like not to have camaraderie in the office, to have conflict. And you're here to be the anchor to keep us solid and learn from this." So she said, "Oh, I have an idea. I want to take that job over there." But as a spider in the middle of a web looking for its dinner, poor little thing at the end, right? It has to figure out how to get there. So I believe we talk interdimensionally to access information, to coordinate input for someone's experiencing a life choice. Did you follow that? The life choice is for the two in the office, not for the one that got the job. To figure out why they don't get along. And I think I even went so far as they had a past life together. It was turbulent and terrible. So they threw themselves into a work relationship what was going to be as bad as the past life. And she was to come in and be the intermediary. Now, those of you that are listening to this, how many times did that happen? Did you at times feel like, oh, there's a job. Oh, I have to go get that job. Well, let's see. Do I want that job? Well, I have to do it. And you go in, you have a terrible interview. You don't know if you want the job and you get hired. You don't think that's a God thing? Please. It's meant to be. You can't get out of it. You could not put in for it, but eventually you will end up in that group. Okay. We have guides overseeing our actions and gently nudging us toward the better path versus someone who has agreed to or volunteered to enter flesh to physically witness another soul's earthly experience firsthand. So about a month ago, and did bring this lady up, and she brought to light something, and this is kind of like what I do sometimes, kind of like, oh my gosh, Nancy. Uh, she was talking. She says, "Why am I here?" And I meant it. I was going to say, uh, sometimes I don't always get, and all of a sudden it took over, boom, and all this spewed out of my mouth, and I thought, "Well, who's in charge here?" I, I don't know if it's me because I was not thinking these words, and it just came out of me. Her intricate um, relationship with these people before they were born. And one was a brother. And I said, the brother came to you in spirit. And he says, I have a path that's going to be difficult. I need someone to witness this turbulence I'm choosing so that I can make a better decision. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I've told her there's like three other people in that family that asked her. They all came together, and the family was turbulent, more so than I've seen other families. A lot of unfortunate dynamics. And like I said, it came through. And as I was witnessing, I was seeing them before they were born in the afterlife talking. And I saw these groups of people, and they were all saying, okay, we're going to be born first. You're going to be born first, and then we're going to come around. We're going to be second, third, and fourth. And she needs to witness their choices. It didn't mean they were going to be successful. Maybe they were going to be unsuccessful. Go ahead, Shar.
Now, me being who I am and what I do for a living in real life, what you're talking about hits home. I mean, that probably was my function at some point was to was to witness others. I mean, that's what I do for a living, essentially.
Yeah,
Or anybody that writes a book like like Leslie last night. You know, anybody that writes a book about somebody is there to bear witness to their life. That's what it is.
that's right. You bear witness. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I really go to a place of it's a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my kids are what we call independent. They need neither mother or father. So I allowed children to come through me that would have independent lives because look what I got into. I'm being drawn all the time. Self-employed people have a rough path because what you make this month pays the bills next month type of
Yep.
attitude.
Yep.
And so in some ways I raise independent people because that was their destiny and they like being independent. Neither one of them need us. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of tough. I mean, we want to be needed. I can sit around for weeks and I get a phone call. But what I've learned is I'm not here to witness their lives. They're there to witness people in their life. And I do find that fascinating. Um, Moms like to hear calls, but I realize we have children to allow them to have a life. And that was what was taught to me because I help people in their life. So I was they so there's two kinds of people in the world. There's those who believe in us and believe in ghosts, and those who say that we're foof. And people say, "Oh, I don't believe in survival. I've never seen a ghost." I'm sitting here looking at all the dead relatives walking around them. I'm going, when do I start telling them what they look like? And Char and I've done this, and I've done it on other shows where I'm talking about what these relatives all look like, and they don't believe in survival. I go, "Oh, that's going to be hard tonight."
Question in the chat room: how do you figure this out when wondering why you were born?
Well, we got a half hour. I'm going to be
Oh,
telling
she's
you.
good. She's doing it.
I want to bring up a few more situations so that you can tell when you're supposed to do that. And I
Okay,
can't see that chat room. Is there uh hello Pamela, Marissa, Jerry. I
there you
can't even
go.
see how many are there in here. Uh
Well, you know what's
so we
funny is what I've noticed before we go on. I'm looking at the numbers, online here as opposed to what and what's in the chat room, and there's other people that don't. I mean, they're just viewers. It's like
yeah,
TikTok
yeah.
is the same casual viewers that are watching, which is interesting because Karen Clark actually gave us the happy face up there, and she's just observing. So yeah, so we got
Oh,
all kinds of
Karen's
people
in
watching.
Facebook maybe.
So yeah, she's Facebook or someplace. Yeah,
Hi Karen.
Cyberland.
uh, I don't know anybody who's had a charmed life. I certainly haven't. I know Shar hasn't.
Okay.
And Shar was the witness for her parents, clearly.
Yeah.
And so I understand this, and now it's her turn. Absolutely. So there was an agreement there. Um, I was saying earlier that I had children and they are independent. How did I get to that? Well, they certainly didn't need me. Yes, I was a parent. I did a good job, I guess, but I taught them how to be strong. But I never had that feeling of being pulled. I'm giving you some ideas here of someone that you feel always pull at your spirit. And those people need you and you're not done with them, clearly. And I have friends whose children won't leave the parent alone. They're always hovering, help me, do this, do that. And clearly that is not a usury situation, but one where the one that to witness that life needs to give them strength to be their own person or give them confidence or instruct them, and they're not done raising them. Now, friends, yes, I have some really close. Karen from Oregon, we had past life regressions. I had past life regression, and it was almost word for word, visual of her and her dream of us being girls in Rome or Egypt or whatever, all the way back 2,000 years. I was telling her about this past life regression. She says, let me finish that for you. I had this dream. And so clearly, we're good friends, but we witness each other's life. And I used to say, I witness her life of being a single lady who dates a lot, and
Hmm.
I'm satisfied I don't need that. She says to me, and she used to visit my first husband and I a lot. She says, I come over here and watch you and your children, and it satisfies me. See how that works? So we're paired up again and again to witness, enjoy, and become a teeter totter of balance. I want to bring up something that we're all not all here to do this. I want to bring up Marge and Fran. I'm not positive Marge is alive. She would be in her mid to late 80s. Her mother, Fran, I met them the first week or so of Canon Knowledge Church. And one night I was watching the ladies all sat next to each other, always sat next to each other when they came. And I looked at Fran, and she was in her mid 80s at the time, and looked at her, and all of a sudden her energy bellowed real big. And I had that moment. And she was having a hard time in her body, more so than I've ever seen. And you'll hear me talk about people, we'll do that some night, of those who have past life intrusions and they can't stay in their body. And I'll watch somebody's spirit go boom, boom, back and forth because they can't figure out where they want to go. They want to go to past life, they want to stay here, they want to go to future life. It's crazy, everybody, crazy. And Fran just got this look on her face like, I'm going to explode on my body. It was crazy. And I said, Fran, do you feel like you're foreign to this world and that you don't belong? And she says, oh my gosh, my words to my daughter all the time. What's wrong? Why can't I stay here? And I says, do you feel like you've ever had a life here before? But this time I kind of got into this past. And she says, no. I says, I don't think you've ever been born here. And Marge, I looked at her and she did the same thing. I almost had a heart attack because I don't see that very often, nor do I see soulmates very often. And I explained to you that story. I was entertaining, I think it was a show. If it was, let me know. Children's Network, Cancer Network. It was October of 92. See, October of, no, May or June of 92. And Children's Network. And uh, the lady came first, and I says, there's an overlay on you. You have soulmate. And at the end of the day, the last fellow that showed up didn't tell me. And I said the same thing. He says, you were talking to my wife. I've only had a couple of those. So Marge and Fran came, came together, Fran first. She had Marge, and they're here to keep each other company for a first time physical experience. Just think about that. How many millions of years have we been here? Well, how many spirit levels are there? How many dimensions do you think someone else would like to try our meat jackets? Learn how to smell wonderful pasta, pizza, French bread, coffee. There actually are people who've never been born before. And these two came together. One of them, I might have mentioned this before. I did a phone reading with the lady, and of course, these ladies, please get in hot touch with me. I know Fran's gone, but I don't know Marge. And this other lady was a younger woman, and it was 15, 20 years ago, probably also. A lot of them, maybe 15. Anyway, I talked to her one day, and I was having a hard time blending with her. Marge and Fran, I was witnessing it. And as I looked at it, I was younger, my eyes real big. I go, oh my gosh, everybody's looking at me like someone pinched me. And that's when I asked the questions, and they both agreed that there was some kind of unusualness about them. So with this lady I was talking to, and she did the same thing. It was almost like I was talking to her and she bellowed out. Now, we human beings put wings on angels. It makes us feel better. They're in the air, they're going to fly. Well, if someone thought they were an angel, they would also create the illusion of wings. She did. And she was also someone who was of service, not only to her family, immediate family, this is Placerville, but also to the greater area. And this has been quite a while back. I don't remember her family being turbulence as much as the community. And I said to her, "Do you feel unusual? Do you feel like you're an umbrella overlooking everything? Do you feel like you by choice came here? It wasn't your really what you wanted to do, but you're here for service and help." And she says, "Yes." And she says, "I'm hoping you're going to say what I'm thinking I am." And I said, "Humans' definition of angel." She says, "Yes."
Mhm.
She says, "Oh, you're maybe one or second person that's ever picked that up." And I says, "How long do you know?" She says, "All my life. All my life I've known I don't belong here, but I'm here for service to help the people that will be brought to me in service." So when you see people working for the homeless or youth camps or teachers or police people, someone who has immediate connection to people, even myself, all those who are readers, we are volunteering to help the multitude. If you're drawn to service, if you're drawn to help a community, church, food bank, home, I'm bringing that up because it's what we're dealing with after the pandemic, right?
Mhm.
In any way, there's all kinds of groups, and those who live in Europe, they have their issues too. Be somebody who finds bombs in the fields of Africa still. Remember that Princess Diana was in that. She came to service. And so I do believe that we choose to be of service. And those that come to us, we are now their guides. So by choice and design, but not by demand, do we come to be of service. Now, some of you are thinking, what about immediate family? It's not always the child that you get along with that you had this agreement. It's usually the one you didn't, because that is the dynamics of healing and of teaching and of making agreements. It's not always the one you get along with, because that could be the one that's giving you support in the one that you're having trouble with. I don't know about you, but when I got divorced, there was only one other lady at work that I could talk to, because I didn't know anybody else who got divorced in 1988. And so that person volunteered. She says, "What are you so upset for? You're getting divorced once. I've been married 3 times." I go, I was so taken back. It was 1988, so she got divorced earlier. When I was in high school, there were no second marriages. That was in the 60s. So in some ways, now kids aren't getting divorced, but when you have a marriage that's not good, which one is there to witness the other person? It's not always pleasant. It could be that you're there to enhance their life and make it better or encourage them. A lot of times, and I'm not going to go into this too hard, that we have a life where the man was a woman in a past life and they were married and the woman was a husband and kept that partner down. And in spirit, they say, "You were kind of rough on me. I was a wife. You treat me like a piece of meat and a piece of farm animal. I want to come back as a husband and I want you to support me." And so that is also agreement, not a design, not a demand, but a choice. And we'll do that on purpose. Now you ask, what can be demand? People who are thrown in a position of trials and tribulations, and it's necessary for the people in their world, in their bigger picture. Did Christ come here on demand? Well, he did. God sent him as his child. So he came by demand. How many people can you think of? I just picked the biggest person in the whole world when I'm knowing. But sometimes people are in demand. How about someone who runs an orphanage? Are they in demand? We want you to run this place. Maybe so. Because they are a figurehead and to be a support system and for people to look up to as their mentor, as a figurehead of who they would want to be. Think about who that could be, because those are the ones in demand. They're not always looking for that picture, that position. They're promoted or they're moved to that position. Somehow the universe says you will take that job because people need to have you as somebody they want to try attain. That's not right the word. They want to look up to and say, you came out of the slums. You can look at you. You've made it. I can do it too. That's a better way of wording it. So we have by choice. You could watch somebody and say, and recently I talked to somebody and the woman said, oh, I agree with this, but unfortunately, that child did not do a good job. They are not learning what they're supposed to. I want make sure that you forgive them and make sure you feel in your mind you've done everything you can. Otherwise, you'll do it again.
Mhm.
We don't want that. And if anybody does you wrong and you are there as an agreement because you can't get away from them, you have to forgive them. And I own that with my own marriage. Not going to say what happened. I had cancer and I realized that's not where I thought I was going to die. And I knew it wasn't where I should be. And I forgive everything that could have happened between us because I don't want to do it again. And I meant it, everybody. You have to say it. And you have to put your mind to the time in the past. And you have to visualize yourself in turmoil or conflict or whatever you want to call it. And at that point in your past, you forgive that moment. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I hadn't said that.
Mhm.
I had to get away. Forgive there. Don't say, well, that really was, I'm really sorry I did that. You go back to your memory because we can back up in time and change the dynamics of the moment that domino to today's present time because you don't want to do it again. We've talked to guides overseeing our actions and gently nudge us toward the better path for someone who's agreed or volunteered to enter flesh to physically witness another soul's earth experience firsthand. I brought this up last time as the spirit told me, go to the 7-Eleven and get a hot dog. And I went, no, I don't want a hot dog. I sat in line for a half hour while the train passed. It was around the corner. I couldn't see it when I came upon the 7-Eleven. That's what it feels like when you say to yourself, man, I really want to run away with that guy. I want to just run away. And you go, whoa, why am I getting such hesitation? Why am I feeling like I really want to do this, but I get this in my head? No, 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 no. Would you please start paying attention to that? Pay attention to the nudging of spirit kind because they knew wherever I was headed, I might have gotten frustrated at the other end. And they knew, and it's a long story. When I have more time, I'll explain to it. I'll just tell. When I was a child, I went to the circus with my family and grandma and grandpa. And I have a problem seeing people in death defying situations. And when I saw the trapeze people come out, mom or dad was said, go with grandma, go out and get a hot dog. So here I'm a 4 or 5 year old getting a hot dog. So naturally, I associate that with relaxation and fun. And they knew that. So I sat there without a hot dog, restless because I needed to go somewhere. That was their spirit kind nudging us into a better path. Pay attention. If you want that promotion over there so badly, but every time you go to sign up or every time you think about it, you get this dark feeling, please pay attention because that will save you a lot of headache. I want to move down my notes because I got quite a few here. Those who serve have volunteered to help others on their path. Readers like myself tap into information to help souls on their path. Perhaps they're seeking help too emotional to accept on their own intuition, to feel the correct path and decisions to go confidently forward. I really believe that we can get too involved emotionally to get our own answers, especially myself. I tell you, I'm just as human as everybody else, but it's hard to tap into my own when I think it's important to know something. And you know, we are sometimes blocked by our own id. My husband is a cool person. He's very calm, and he can read us better than I can, which is crazy. I can read you in a heartbeat, but I can't do it for myself as easily. And we're all the same way. Um, so we get too emotional, and I would like you to relax. I don't like the word meditate because I don't do it very well. And just ask questions. If you're going to plan to go to the store, do A or B. Learn to have intuition. Trust yourself. Those who do not respect this profession or what I do, don't seek us out because they are born to make their own decisions. I've talked of this before. Over the years, I witnessed people becoming dependent on me, and I have to tell them, I don't want your life. I don't want to live your life, and I don't want to be responsible for your life. I will give you the signposts on the road that light your way, but I'll pick up the most important outcomes and incidences that you're wanting me to tell you. But when you call me up a week before, 2 weeks, say, now what do I say to somebody or what do I do? You're taking your free will and you're giving it to me. I certainly don't want your free will because that makes me responsible for your life. And then you're going to get to do this life over because you've given away your free will to make a choice. And I don't even know how much free will there is. I've already told you that Donna Vasquez, who died in February 2001, said to me, I'd rather you make a choice that is wrong than to never make any choice at all. Because only through choices do we evolve as souls. I love that. Write that down, everybody. Back it up until you get it. Making choices, having choices is really amazingly fun. Okay, making a decision not to talk to us. We're born to do so all on their own, and they like the idea of making their own choices. And then when it's time and they have made their choices, they go start wondering about the afterlife and what the purpose of life and what is the meaning of life. And then guess what? Someone they know says, I know somebody that you can talk to. And then our names are given to them.
Hmm.
Okay, so you ever heard that someone say, wow, I just went somewhere and I glanced around and I saw somebody and we locked eyes and I went, oh my God, I know that person. Where do I know that person? Clearly, maybe you've never even met. Guess what that is? That's a phenomena of past life recognition through eye contact. The idea that eyes are the seat of the soul, the place of recognition. Well, depending if I have my lashes on or not, do I have the same eyes? Well, of course I do. I used to be more of an athlete than I am now. I had really short haircut. And people would walk up to me and they go, oh, I thought you look like, you look familiar. I must have had a really busy past life because sure a lot of people recognize me. Or there are just a lot of people that look like me. I, there's a lot of Indians in America, and I definitely have the Indian head and the dark eyes. Um, had a better nose at one time, everybody. Most people don't know I had it broke. So the doc gave me this little one, but it used to be like my son's, like straight out. And with really short hair, I must have looked like a lot of people. The phenomenon of recognition of past life where a strong connection was made and you were supposed to connect in this life for no other reason to say, hi, see, I did come back and this is how I look in this lifetime. Okay, that. Recognize that. That is cool. And as you turn around from seeing that one person, that you go, oh my gosh, where did I see that person? Say in your mind, because that spirit will hear you. Nice to see you again. And if it's meant to be, then you will connect again. Never know. But that one recognition, that moment, that's great. Um, okay, I believe even a world leader could have universal agreement to be allowed to rule and all of us to witness their rise and their fall, or to reverse a particular failure to turn it around. Just think of all the world leaders and the people, even a company owner. How many of us have witnessed their growth and failure,
Mhm.
or their growth and they then died so someone else could run it for them or change it? I think, I'm not going to say people that are taken so early, but before they go, they have great accomplishment. Perhaps that was what their job was, is to bring this knowledge. We are to witness their life because they're given us the path that we can all follow. We assume the greatest, wealthiest, most successful of our people of the world, and those who are in power may have sought out this life for us to witness their actions. Sometimes we witness their life and go, what is going on? Sometimes we not have a sense of, wow, they're wonderful, but we have a sense of witnessing their life. And I have many clients of all economic levels, and we're all alike, everybody. We put our pants on one leg at a time. We brush
Mhm.
our teeth at night. And sometimes the people who have the most money are the most turbulent because they haven't struggled. I was given a talk on relationships, and the most successful relationships and the happiest of couples are the ones that have plans for the future, who strive and have to work hard to bring prosperity to the family or happiness. And the happiest people will sit down and play canasta all night. I have this family I'm in love with in Shara's part of the world. And I was invited a couple times ago, and I called them the Friday night pizza card people. And if you girls are watching, give me a call. I have missed them terrible. And Kathy, unfortunately, the mom did pass away. And I feel like I should step in and be mom to the rest. And Kathy and I were exactly the same age. I've never seen such happy, loud, beer, pizza, Friday night, salt of the earth, good people. I go there to be around those people to settle my soul. They are there for me to look at because and I did say they had good times always, but they knew what the core of family life was about. Loved it. Love it. And the people that had the most money, they had the money to take the place of working hard to have the relationship. So the money gets in the way sometimes, but that is their lesson. Can they be happy? Can they network together and have a happy life together and not have turbulence all the time? Because money gets in the way. Because you work so hard to maintain the family fortune. um, and then I want to talk about watching your children. For those of you who have had children, the youngest of our children, 2, 3, 4 years old, you can see agreements early, even if it's the youngest one, come around, it gets older and say, I will take care of you. And the oldest one allows that. Or the oldest one sees the youngest one and say, I will always take care of you. That's not their job, but they had a pre-life agreement to do so. There was a question of how do you know the pull, the obligation. When I got into this, I did promise the universe, God, that I'd work for him the rest of my life. And no matter, I get really tired, everybody. It's just like everybody else. I'll be 75 end of April. And you think, well, let me think here. I want to do some traveling. That's what's getting to. I will take my phone and work. But there has to be balance also. But when I think about quitting, I can't. You know why? Because I made a pledge. Because I promised. And this is a pre-life agreement. You will see that in families. You will see in families where you can't get away from somebody. I'm here. I'm going to take care of this person. It could be your spouse. It could be your spouse's mother. let me tell you the love I had for my ex-husband's mother, or people that I would like to be able to have in my life and I can't. Those are obligations that could or could not happen. But maybe next time the pull is undeniable. And it's not necessarily a past life or turbulence. It could be a past life of love, of remembrances, and want to help it again because you could not in a past life. Of a spouse in a past life that died too early, man or woman, couldn't be there for the other one to live out their life. And so they will repeat it and get it right. And I know most of you, I can't see the chat room, Char, will
Just
agree,
looking.
understand. Okay, there's Karen. Um, all I see is I'm having a senior moment. Listen, girlfriend, I have senior moments too. I hope I tried to make this as full and as see. I think I've forgotten something here, but I can't see it real quick. I wrote down about an hour's worth. Was there any questions in the room that I didn't cover? I hope I covered this good enough.
Shoot some
Let's see.
questions, guys, if you want it.
Jeez. Oh, Karen, I can't read this much. Are
Karen's
you able?
hilarious.
Uh, Still look for the
Karen,
show and both of you are Friday. Thank you for all you sharing, your amazing talents, hard work. Nancy, oh, Marissa, Jerry, Charlotte. I've always learned something. Karen, that is just too sweet. This is I'm in service. This is what I do. I tell people, God let me win $1 million. I lotto, Larry, you hearing this? My husband. Um, this wouldn't I wouldn't have to charge. Um, oh, you just talking about how you worked as so I know that turbulence is in Karen's life, but it may not be your turbulence that you have to suffer. It may be that you're there to have people take care of you. Um,
here we go.
okay.
Watch this.
Huh?
We have to pin compliments. That's all there is to it. See, we have to have compliments.
Well, I hope it make it interesting. If anybody is on Facebook or
I'll
YouTube,
tell you.
kind of give a thumbs up, everybody, so that it encourages me also to keep coming
The
back.
more likes we get, the higher up we go in the algorithms.
Yeah, that's how
So
it works, I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so even though we suffer, I've been sick off and on, and it's biology of the family. I actually take after an aunt, and she's had the same diseases I've had, which is amazing. And I look like her, and we both look like grandma who's Indian. So on that line, unfortunately, there was some things that popped up, and it's not necessarily that I'm in conflict with myself. It
Mhm.
could be that the illnesses that we suffer is because of overwork, clearly. And this is very energy wise draining. It could be that my lesson is to learn balance because
Mhm.
I'm a OCD kind of person. I work type A personality. I work myself to death until I break. And I think one of my lessons is to allow other things that come in that's more enjoyable, which I don't have time to talk about it tonight, but I'm making plans to do some traveling and write my books. So um, if we don't have any more questions, no?
You know, I'm OCD too. I mean, I'm like that too. I mean, I throw myself into everything like
Hmm.
this. I mean, this for me is it's a
I've
24
done
hour.
it right with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like but I enjoy it. If I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't like it. There's nothing worse than having a job that you can't stand and you have to trudge in every day to work and do it, or a boss you don't like working for. You know,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
enjoy every second of this. I mean, I may get tired and get grumbly, but like the video I shot this afternoon, I mean, it's fun. You know, things will inspire me, and I'll think they're tremendously funny, and that's how they end up making the circuit. You know, but I
I'm
wouldn't.
like Shar of Sh- Cher, Shar of the singer Shar, Sonny and Cher, how she recreated herself every decade.
Mhm.
And I feel like I've done the same thing, like every 5, 6, 7 years. I call it gearing up to try something new. Even when I worked a year in Tombstone, I was developing websites at that time, newer websites. And I got involved with Professor Gary Swartz, and there was a lot of things going on. And you think you can't get any more busy. And every couple of years, I gear up and do more. Now it's a
Mhm.
YouTube.
Yeah.
and transcribing all these tapes and doing things. So everybody, I'm also going to start, and not quite yet. I want to see with the audience if I get the support. I'm not going to do all this work if no one's going to listen to my show. So I'm going to be doing clips of people's sessions and my answers. So I got, you don't want to know. I started doing a digital in 2011 or 12, and I have all those recordings all those years. And before that was cassettes. So I kept the best of them. So I will play a lot of them. So it's a lot of work. So if you also want to support me, go to my YouTube channel, Nancy Matz Psychic, and sign up, and that will let me know to keep going. Or Shar shows. Make sure
Hmm.
you click on because they're at my channel also.
Yeah.
I think I'm
So
about 3 or 4 behind Shar. So she gets support. If you click on mine, it goes to her count, not mine. All right, Char, you
the
want
thing
to?
is with what we're doing as far as this and
Huh?
as far as being out there on the World Wide Web, everything is based on views. Everything is based on likes.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
important. Yeah, get
like
the
even with
information out.
TikTok, the more likes you get, the more they're going to spread whatever it is you're doing. And the
Mhm.
newer TikTokers like me, we're struggling to get those likes, and we want those likes, and it's always nice. So I mean, if you're on Instagram and you come across one of my videos, click a like, or even on YouTube or whatever, watching this, like I
Oh,
always say every night, because that's what we want. I mean, that's what we do it for. We love doing this, and we love helping people and spreading spreading positivity.
well, it's like anything. You go start a new project.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to learn how to fly an airplane. I won't have time in my life, what's left, to do that. But if someone said, I'll give you an airplane, I will try to learn to fly it, of
Uh-huh.
course. But yet, if we don't get the support, then I'm going to change my plans.
Uh-huh.
The universe wants me to do this. The support needs to get there because I'm not going to go to the work and the
Hmm.
cost of writing books and publishing them or doing the YouTube if the interest isn't there. I'll let the new generation do
Yeah,
it. We
exactly.
got to step aside. Us older ones, we have the knowledge, but the younger ones have a different energy. So I'm very respectful. All
I'm
right,
starting.
Shar.
I'm starting to see, like, I follow a lot of political guys on TikTok, but
Okay.
I'm starting to see younger. I'm starting to see people in their 20s doing politics now,
Oh, sure. Well, same
which is
with
kind of
people like
cool. You
myself.
know, I follow one young guy that does the politics shtick. And yeah, little by little, the young ones start to take over things. But I want to hang in as long as I can do it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Shall we close the show and show my information? And
I guess we
almost
could. It's Friday.
been an hour. We did
Yeah.
good.
And a quick reminder, everybody, I should have the Patreon set up by Sunday or Monday.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to start doing that. And Nancy will be part of the Patreon. And again, all the pre-recorded shows that I'm doing now. I got I got one scheduled for next week and one scheduled for the week after. All those, once they're done with the final edit, will be available for a quick look on the Patreon. And I think this is going to help a little bit. I was talking to one of our loyal listeners who lives back east, Central Time and Eastern Time, and it can get hard. We're on right now. We are on at what is it now? It is
10:30 there.
10:30 there, and it's hard on people because it's so late.
Yeah.
Well, for those special shows that Nancy, for those special things that Nancy, I want to do little chit chats. We don't necessarily have to go over there after our show here. We could pick a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, or Sunday. Some day that's easier on you guys. Just like with the pre-records, I mean, I could just put it over there. You can go at your convenience, even though you're kind of doing that on YouTube anyway. But still, I mean, it'll be a place where you guys can see this.
Mhm.
Can maybe get the stuff earlier. All right, and if there's additional questions that you were kind of shy to ask, like in this public forum, that's what that's for too. I mean, we don't want to kill Nancy off with a bunch of psychic readings, right?
Got to remember, this is what I do for a living, everybody. So the
Well,
topics we cover, like if you were doing this, if we were talking to you, say, Nancy, my agreement with this person, what is it? And
uh-huh.
then I can answer that kind of question.
Yeah.
Make it
See,
quick.
yeah, so that's what we want to do. And plus, Nancy has so many notes on these topics anyway. she skims over anyway. So we even go into more detail on the stuff.
Yeah.
It's a way to go over there and do that, and it's also a way to fund what's going on. Because this stuff doesn't come free. So I mean,
Well, that's why I volunteer my time for her to get
yeah,
a better computer, everybody,
yeah,
so it
yeah,
doesn't keep crashing on her.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, yeah. This computer, it does its job, but
Yeah.
it's held together with bubble gum. But yeah, I mean that's what it's for. And so yeah, we
Nancy,
do
it
want
broke again.
lost all my stuff. Yeah. So that's part of that too, because we want to we and we love this. We love helping. We love spreading a message. So we love helping people. So the Patreon is going to give us and you an extra way to do that. So hopefully you guys come on over to the Patreon and join us over there. It's going to be fun.
Mhm,
It's going to
mhm.
be a lot of fun over there. And some of the guests that you guys really like, that you want to ask more questions to, I'm going to try and make arrangements with them to
Yes.
do special shows over there with me, so you guys can get those questions in. So
That'd be
yeah,
great. Yeah.
yeah.
They're doing
Speaking of
whatever you're
which,
doing with you. Mhm.
Monday we will be on at 5 p.m. Pacific. Bart Seabrill is with us. If you remember Bart Seabrill, he is the gentleman that believes that NASA and the government concocted a fake moon landing,
Oh,
and
yes, I do remember
has
him.
he has several new witnesses to this,
Woo.
and a new book out. So he's going to be joining us Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Sunday, of course, we'll be reading the book, and that'll be at the usual time of 6:30 p.m. Pacific. I may have something going on Sunday night, so I'm going to pre-record it for you guys, but it will be there and available for you. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you, Nancy. And I just walked in the studio 10 minutes before the show, roughly, to put it together. It was one of those days. I was rushed. I was rushed. Well, the lines were so long at gas and store and all that. So, but I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody that's been downloading the show over in Europe and all the other countries. It's just impressive when you see that happening and you look at the numbers, and Singapore is downloading the show, and they're all over the world watching us, and it's really cool.
How
I love
fun.
I love every second of it. So thank you all. And again, if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. We are equal opportunity here at California House Radio. And also, again, like Nancy says, if you're watching from Facebook and you like what you hear and see and you haven't done so yet, feel free to follow, because the more followers we get, the higher up in the algorithm we go. Even though I appreciate all the follows, it's not all about the algorithm. Okay, it's about you guys watching the show. All right,
Well, encourage us to keep going.
it encourages us to keep going.
Right.
And if you liked it, show us some love. Put some thumbs up there, hearts, funny faces, whatever you want to put up there. Same thing with YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. There's 542 videos over there for you to peruse. And like Nancy will tell you, I just don't cover paranormal topics. Like last night, right? We talked about the teenage boy that killed his father, or we cover abuse stuff, or we're gonna have Wayne Pacelli's coming back on to talk about animal rights. So I try to
Or
mix it up a
cryptids.
little bit. Yeah,
Cryptids.
cryptids and stuff like
That
that.
was a good one.
So when you come over to look at the YouTube page and you peruse them, because that's what people do, I think there's something for everybody over there that'll keep your interest. So okay, that being said, it is Friday. It is the weekend, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day before they have to come back and watch me on Sunday, if you do.
They don't
But
have to come back. You want them to come back.
yeah, I want them to come back. Whoever comes back. But yeah, we're going to show Nancy's information, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to be shooting a couple cool videos. I've gotten some stuff in the mail from friends and people that watch the show, and I decided to do a live to open this stuff up to show you guys what I got. Okay,
Oh.
so I'm going to be shooting a video of that, and one of them is really cute. One of them is really cute, I'm just curious to see what it's actually going to look like. Okay, so thank you, everybody. So I'm going to shut up now, and we're going to flash Nancy's info across the screen, and then I'm going to call it a night. So here we go. That website is nancymatz.com, and NancyMatzAuthor.com with the N, M, and A capitalized. She's also got the YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Nancy Matz Psychic. The N, M, and the P are capitalized. Books. Help. Get me out of this funk. Nancy Matz. Two Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills. And The Unwilling Sacrifice. And those books can be purchased at Amazon.com. You can also check them out on our website too. Okay, I said I was going to shut up, but I'm not yet. Okay. Nancy's right. We're working on getting a new laptop here, and I've saved up enough money, all but $200 to get my laptop. So if you can find it in your heart to help me out a little bit, like I tell you, everything that comes into California Haunts Radio goes to California Haunts team in one way or another. It really pays the radio bills for the most part, but it also helps us get new equipment and stuff we need to go out and provide a service to people. So if you could help us out a little bit with that, that would be great. It doesn't have to be a lot, but yeah, this computer has issues, as you guys know, and we've had 3 issues this week already with it. And yeah, I'm looking to replace it, so I'm real close. To be 200 is real close. When you consider what a computer costs these days, especially to do this kind of thing. So I'd really appreciate it. It's fine. Okay, I'll shut up now and have a great weekend. I will see you guys. Well, technically, I'll see you guys. I may see you Sunday. No, I don't think so. I will see you live on Monday, but you will see me on Sunday. And you might see my video before then, too. Okay, here we go.
All right, everybody. Good night.
Good night.